Hello, friends, and welcome back to Tracking the Pros. I'm Nyarko, going to be play-by-playing this show matchup, Disguise versus the Best Meme Dream Team, and I'm accompanied by Wolf for this wonderful best-of-3
Good. How
journey.
are you
Super
guys? How you
excited to be
feeling?
doing this new format here occasionally on TTP, where if we got some stuff we could co-stream, we're going to co-stream it. Wolf, how you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty bummed out like last week, with all the LCS stuff going on. Not going to be delayed by 2 weeks, but now we get to see a nice show match between Delta Fox, a team that we haven't seen in a long time, versus DSG, which is a new NACL team.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be a very exciting match. It's one that is going to be bringing a lot of nostalgia for old fans. Dyrus, Shifter, I'm a Cutie Pie, Voyboy, and Scara all together on what was a meme team when they first started off. I believe that they even had an iteration after the whole Echo Fox fiasco where they just went off independently as the best meme dream team. So the fact that they're coming back, reviving in order to celebrate DSG getting into the realm of League of Legends is really, really impressive stuff. Disguised had their roster, I believe, leaked last night by LCS EV, but now we can officially talk about it because they're moving on into the draft. But really quick, shout outs to everybody who's made it through into this new NACL roster. Fake God, Tomio, Young, Meech, Zazel, and then Golden Glue as coach. Really, really great stuff to see. And now, as we talk about all this, we are in fact seeing the draft occur on Toast's stream. It's going to be the best meme dream team, aka Delta Fox, on blue side, and already a Nico ban is underway.
Yep, I'm pulling it up right now to make sure I can see everything. And yeah, Nico ban, something we've been seeing in the LPL. It's I think Nico has a really high presence there. Haven't been able to see too many of the games, but I'm assuming it's some sort of either mid or maybe support flex, possibly jungle. I think there's been some pretty cool clears that you could do in the jungle, but makes sense. Yumi ban as well. Just annoying champion, enables a lot of ADCs and hyper carries in the current meta. And then on the red side, we see Singed ban and Katarina ban, which I assume are just more like targeted bans. I don't know who's been playing Singed. Maybe Shifter, maybe Voyboy kicking something up, but and Katarina also for Shifter. So I guess playing a little bit more safe on the red side, banning the one tricks.
This is definitely a case of really trying to figure out how memey either of these teams want to play. I think that it is kind of the burden of Delta Fox to go all out just by virtue of, these guys having a little bit of rust and whatnot in terms of how they function as a group, but also just in terms of how much they've been playing solo queue as of late. And Skies, on the other hand, they're gamers. They were prepping for the NACL season regardless. I think a lot of these players kind of knew that there was something on the horizon for them, given the fact that much of this roster was the C9 NACL team, which while they were dropped, they certainly were also very, very good. They won the whole first split, right? So you would imagine that someone was going to pick them up. And because of that, I really am kind of worried about how hard of a stomp this could possibly be if Disguised just wants to not even have fun with this, but rather they just want to get this over with, collect their money, really hype it up, not only as, hey, Disguised Toast has a team, but rather hyping it up as, hey, Disguised Toast has a real competitor for the title.
Yeah, I think DSG's roster is looking really good. Tomio in the top lane. I'm forgetting all the players got on the roster, but like 3 of the players come from straight from C9 Academy. Where it's or C9 NACL, which was Academy. A lot of the players were also in LCS at some points, with Golden Glue being the coach. I think coming off of 100 Thieves. Also experienced player. I think this roster for the NACL is looking really scary. I think again they have a lot of experience, and if depending on how hard they play tonight, it will be a good indicator of the NACL season to come. Whatever they scrape left of it.
For sure. We're about to enter on to the draft phase. We already talked a little bit about the first few bands, but now the selections are all running through. Milio on the B1 going to be grabbed here for Scara, who I believe is going to be jamming support, although they are a little bit out of order. Shifter is going to be the one in the jungle. I'm a Cutie Pie mid, Voyboy bot, and then Dyrus top. Disguised, on the other hand, they're kind of just picking, and I believe that they were in the actual lobby order with what we were watching before. So we got a Felios and Heimerdinger coming through so far. I imagine that this isn't actually going to be a Heimerdinger support. Rather, there's a good chance this is going to be a lane Heimerdinger, maybe up against something like that Olaf that was grabbed, if that itself is not going into the jungle.
Yeah, I think Olaf is going to be be like a two-way flex between jungle top.
Obviously, I want my
Nothing
team to
in
win,
particular that
but
makes me want to say that Olaf is going to be in the
I also
jungle.
love
Obviously, going to be
Scar,
still good with the
and I hate to
Milio,
see him
but I would
lose.
assume it's kind of going to be a deterrent for a lot of the top lane champions Tomio might play. And now we're seeing on R3 is going to be a Kha'Zix, which it would pair nicely with the Heimerdinger mid, but it also has a lot of solo kill potential in the jungle, where it has a lot of flexibility. It has a lot of good 2v2s mid jungle. So just a safe blind here on R3. They might ban some tanks to counteract the top lane pool, or force something in the jungle that's more it's going to be easier for Kha'Zix to deal with. We'll see. Heimerdinger still, though, we don't know. I think it might be leaning towards support. I feel as Heimer isn't a terrible lane, but it's also not a lane you'd necessarily opt into. I'd rather see like a Lulu or an Enchanter for the Aphilos here, but we'll see what's to come. Fourth ban's going to be Scion, and responding with a Fiora. What do you think about that?
I think that the top lane bans are pretty justified. I am a little bit confused and concerned about how these two teams are drafting the first 3 picks, but I think it's just a matter of them wanting to have fun. As you're kind of talking about, Heimerdinger is not necessarily the most prime support selection with the Aphelios, particularly into Emilio, which kind of implies to me that we're going to be seeing a lane Heimerdinger here. The Kha'Zix also, the fact you refer to that as a safe R3 pick really shows how wild the meta is right now. I think this is a really good champion, though, has a lot of momentum behind it, and now with this Akali hover, we still don't really get much in the way of confirmation as to where anyone is going on DSG's side. However, we do see the rounding out of bans with a LeBlanc knockout by the Best Meme Dream Team. Meanwhile, it's actually Warwick denied by disguise.
Yeah, I don't know that Warwick bans 4 in particular, but regardless, they're betting at some tankier champions, so they obviously want to just one-shot them. Going with the Akali Kha'Zix, which, again, is a strong 2v2 mid, exactly what I thought they were going to do. And Akali could still technically go top if it's an Olaf, but most likely it's a Gragas top, most likely. So Akali is okay into that, probably doesn't want to opt into it, so she's just probably going to stay mid. And just look to kill their backline. But I will say that Milio isn't the squishiest bot lane to really want a one-shot here. They have a lot of opportunity to like outplay, be tankier. Varus can build a shield bow still. And Milio just, a lot of survivability. But we're going to see a Victor come out on B5 and a Lowy come out on R5. Wow, that's an interesting pick here.
This Alawi is a champion that, while I think it has great solo queue potential, you don't see a lot of it in competitive and coordinated play. I know Tyler 1 has been jamming this as of late whenever he goes on his little top lane adventures, and there it has immense solo killing power. I think that it's actually going to be able to box out Gragas, maybe one of the few champions that's actually able to take that early mono-e-mono, but I'm kind of afraid of as to how Disguise is going to be able to play this come later on. We have seen this kind of used in the NACL on occasion. Moose Hater, I believe, played it once or twice. I don't think he had the greatest success of all time on it, though, so that is a concern. That is something to keep an eye out for as we continue to move forward with this game. However, the rest of the draft looking pretty darn good for both sides, I must say. Disguise at the end of the day still is jamming the Heimerdinger support. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but outside of that singular pick, I mean, it's not like it's unjustifiable, and the rest of what they got all looks pretty spicy. The Best Meme Dream Team, on the other hand, is going much more meta than I was expecting for a team with such a ridiculous name. The Gragas is going to be a great facilitator once they get mobilized out of that top lane. You're obviously going to have to send some amount of resources to counteract the Alawi because this champion is basically split push all the time. But there's definitely ways they were able to do that. Olaf can kind of run them down even through a long lane if they overextend trying to get a tower or something like that. Victor for Voyboy makes a lot of sense, and I'm liking Varus and Milio as a combo, particularly with the Lucian denial that we saw from Disguise.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I think Alawi is going to have a nice time. The way Gragas and Olaf have to play when trying to kill her, Alawi's going to feel pretty safe. She's going to have a lot of outplay potential. And I think on the other side of that, Kha'Zix and Akali have to be a little bit careful when they dive in of the Varus ult, revealing them and just like them being up to grabs and being comboed by like the Gragas, being comboed by the Victor, all damage that doesn't need to be they don't need to be seen to be dealt with. So they have to be careful on the engage. And I think I'm liking blue team's comp a little bit more because I think Varus Milio, and Milio being a really strong champion, but Varus also being a pretty good champion. Olaf a little bit out of tune, but I think it's fine. I think he's just going to survive, provide a little bit more early game of stability inside of these fights. And I'm a little bit scared of Heimerdinger here. I don't know how much he's really going to be able to do in these fights with so much poke and range on the enemy team. But I guess that's, if he's playing it for lane, hopefully they'll be able to dominate bot lane.
Yeah, Heimerdinger has to play very proactively, though, to be fully dominant, particularly when Milio can just sit pretty passively back, even go Relic Shield into a matchup like this, right? I believe that Q does, in fact, displace turrets, which is a interaction that will really favor Blue Squad if they can displace Heimerdinger from the bushes that he loves to camp in. And so I really want to look at that part of the map because I think this is really where Disguise can most fumble the bag in a way, alongside Top. Top is also going to be relatively volatile, but Kha'Zix has the ability to go and impact either of those side lanes. Akali versus a Victor is a classic matchup all the while, and I'm just super happy to see this kind of event take place, especially during these dark times, man.
Delta Fox.
Yeah, and I hope we get to see more of it. I hope we get to see more just like show matches a little bit more for fun between like content creators and some of these pro players, especially up and coming pro players or content creators, where we get to see more of their personalities and we just get to see the scene grow. Really, you know, we haven't really felt that burst in a long time. Maybe with like EG roster last year being the NA development team, but I think just like these up and coming players, they have so much room to grow and so much room for the scene to grow. So I'm really excited.
Well, we're about to hop into the game proper. Super happy to say that with some fiddling, our wonderful overlord Joshua has been able to get us into the proper client itself to watch these games rather than having to do it from Disguised Toast stream. So as much as we love Toast, I'm also very happy with the fact that we're going to be able to watch the game with all of the modern amenities that come with the League Spectator client.
Maybe it'd be better if it's pretty complex.
Yeah, I'm super glad. You're gonna have a lot more available options here, you know. So let's see, we're getting into game. I think it's just gonna be a 5-point from both teams, maybe a little bit more prio in bot lane for Heimerdinger to be able to get a lane advantage. But again, a lot of experienced pros. There's gonna be a lot of strategy, especially for level 1, gonna come into play here. So let's just watch him come back onto the map and see.
This is certainly the kind of game where I would love to see these teams just jam something ridiculous early and invade or whatnot, but it's kind of hard to force it on either side. It looks like as we move into this pre-laning phase, what we're getting is a little bit more of a grouped attempt to get some vision by the Best Meme Dream team, wanting to work as a collective in order to stop anyone from immediately getting bursted by, say, Zazal bush camping. But it makes a lot of sense that after just kind of moving on to the blue buff, you have at least one contingent of Delta Fox backing off.
Yep, they're gonna give a little bit of room. They're gonna get Delta Fox is able to get into their blue side and get a ward, so they're gonna know where the Kha'Zix starts roughly. So I think they're gonna play off that and just probably split the map. Gygus is probably just gonna play for their bot lane, or Olaf is gonna play for their bot lane to get ahead, so that they're just gonna able to get first dragon, snowball some of these early objectives. Because I think overall the blue side might be on a little bit more of a timer than red side. I think Aphelios has a lot of room to scale, and then Akali late game with her damage can have a ton of time to scale too. So they're just going to try and snowball the map and see what they can get.
All right, well, I'll leave you guys be.
And I think that one of the aspects of the late game that favors Disguise is the fact that a lot of what red team is doing blanks what Victor wants to do come late, which is drop a huge burst on a grouped enemy team, but there's plenty of artillery and plenty of flanking as well from Disguise that they can play off of. If Tomio particularly gets ahead early, we could be in a position where Voyboy is just unable to make an impact on the map, and it's all up to I'm a Cutie Pie to soften up Red Squad from a distance, which is just going to be super difficult to do when they're able to kind of scatter to the winds. Zazal actually holds kind of a pseudo front line with their turrets if Red Team gets priority around neutral objectives. And while this is all happening, you have Fake God, who I just realized has the name Faker God Top, pushing and pressuring all the while to put a timer on a lot of these contestations.
Yeah, Lowry's going to be super good at holding these chokes, getting a little bit of damage off on some of the front line before the fight starts. But again, like Delta Fox has a lot of just poke damage. There's a lot of range against what Disguised Toast wants to do. Disguised wants to do. So it's going to be a little bit battle how well they're able to position and how, like you said, what the flanks are going to be able to get. Kha'Zix has a lot of flanking opportunities, and Akali certainly has a lot of flanking opportunities. And with Alawi and Aphelios, Heimer being able to hold their own a lot. As we see a fight coming out, Dyrus getting an invade because of the ward. Going to look for the blue buff. Kha'Zix's going to jump out, but I think Dyrus is going to end up just walking away here and using his ghost.
Oh, wait, Dyrus?
Yeah, Dyrus isn't able to get the blue buff, but certainly a good try by the Best Meme Dream Team to get something started there. The problem is, with the priority that Disguise has mid with this Akali just controlling the wave versus Boy, you're in a position where you have to burn Ghost, and unfortunately, you're just unable to get much back. And while this is all happening, we gotta look topside, because as much as there's been a fight in enemy jungle, there's been a perma fight top that's all favoring Fake God. Another E is going to land, and that Test of Spirit is going to crush Scar and taking the Gragas even lower. Zay's ult with a nice little trade there onto I'm a Cutie Pie is actually evening out the health between the two 80 carries right now. Before, what we saw on the bot side of the map was Boy actually doing a really good job stabilizing, and I want to issue a corrective for what I was saying earlier. It's actually I'm a Cutie Pie and Shifter together bot, which was not what I think we were expecting.
Yeah, I think Shifter, I mean, I Cutie Pie is just an ADC. Shifter, I think, being more of a support as of the more recent years. So I think this being the stable, like the roster they end up going with, is good.
I'm pretty sure Fox.
But we're seeing just a lot of trading going on. All the players playing for inches right now. I'm a Cutie Pie down to 1 pot. Ophelia has no pots, so he's able to stabilize this lane. Kha'Zix is there to hover, so there's not much of a gank going to be able to happen. Gonna look for it though.
And I don't see why you wouldn't. I'm a Cutie Pie, doesn't have a lot of mobility. Tomio manages to get past the Ultra Mega Fire Kick, and therefore, free flash blown, nothing needed by Disguised Toast to get that early priority and set up bot side. And this is going to be a reset for Tomio prior to the Dragon spawning up. And so what I would say is, this is a very comfortable position for Red Squad to just kind of rule the roost early. They haven't picked up a kill or anything like that, but they've gotten themselves out to a nice gold lead, and this is probably going to lead to a few neutral objectives as well.
Yep, Olaf taking getting a little bit of vision to Kha'Zix's red side. Gonna find one camp or after camp just spawning, but most likely he's gonna take a reset after this camp and look for the dragon on spawn, as we see. Just Disguised, taking a lot of damage onto this tier 1 tower, almost getting a plate. Hybriding are doing exactly what he wants to do, just pressuring non-stop, getting a lot of damage onto the Milio. Shifter shielding, not gonna be taken down. And they're just going to keep pressuring this turret. Olaf's like nowhere near, and I think they spotted him out, so they just know they can play this aggressive, and it's just going to be detrimental to Ivy Cutie Pie and Shifter down the bot.
Tomio does move over to clear out the top side first before looking for something else on the map, and so this isn't necessarily the fastest dragon take, but Disguise is perfectly happy to just keep this as a 2v2 bot side, especially now that they have knowledge of where Dyrus is. They are just grabbing plates and taking names all the while. I'm a Cutie Pie and Shifter certainly will be scaling come late, especially in the form of that Milio, but as it currently stands, Disguise are just bullying these two, and it looks like now there's actually a chance at a pretty delayed dive. Dyrus is getting blown up their Krugs. Shifter could barely help because they're so low and has no mana, and I'm a Cutie Pie is walking back from base.
Yeah, so far this is a really dominant. Oh, Scar gonna look for the ult, gonna hit him into the wall, but nothing at all. Gonna take more damage on the trade than what he was able to use. But like I was gonna say, just all lanes for Disguise are just winning. They're just hard winning. And I think that's really bad when you have a draft that like you opt into and every lane is getting pushed in, losing prio. Like I said though, Delta Fox does have more of a scaling option in their lanes, but it's going to be a while, and if Disguise keep playing like this, they're going to get advantages, they're going to get kills, and it's just going to be harder to come back into the game and scale.
I mean, you're speaking like it is an already a 2k gold advantage over the Disguised, basically. This is a in the match. I was not expecting all. And Wolf, I'll be honest.
Wait, how did they get 2k gold?
Disguise go full meme, but it seems like they're here to play, and they actually really want to just walk away with the dub in this best of 3.
CS isn't that much different.
Yeah, I mean, it is a show match. It is their first game together on stage, right? So I would hope that they, they show up to play, they show up to win. Maybe like if there's, I think it's a best of 3, so we're not going to see like, if they win first 2. We're not going to see if they meme game 3. But even if they're up 1, they could meme a little bit, and that could be interesting to see. But I think there's going to be plenty of options in the future for them to meme, especially in like the content creating side. So I want to see them play. I want to see what they can do. I want to see them win, and hopefully, bring them stronger into the NACL summer season.
Yeah, well, rolling through the Best Meme Dream Team right now is certainly a good start to that then. Another Test of Spirit landing. I think that Fake God got to consider playing this at a more competitive level coming through into the regular NACL season. He is a sniper with that skill shot.
Yeah, he is hitting he's getting so much damage. Look at the CS deficit top lane. 37 CS for the Gragas compared to the 70 for Alawi. Almost perfect. And again, across the board, like small CS advantages for mid and bot, for Disguised, and then jungle is pretty even, but Kha'Zix does have a camp or two up, so it's just spiraling out of control a little bit. First Dragon still wasn't taken either, so
What's the difference between,
that's decent for, it ends up being decent for Delta Fox. They're going to have a little bit of delay, they're going to have more time to scale, but not by much. We should see this Dragon fall soon, but it looks like Kha'Zix is going to prioritize the Herald. He's going to be on it right now. He might just drop it top, just go for a tier 1 turret with the Alawi, maybe look for a dive, but man, this bot lane's getting demolished.
Yeah, another really impressive skill shot that we're seeing consistently hit is Zeyzal using that grenade from Heimerdinger. Typically, this is follow-up. You have to use it in conjunction with CC from your ADC. But here, it looks like Zeyzal's just raw dogging it, and it's working out beautifully. Shifter and I'm a Cutie Pie unable to move out from under the turret. And as you were kind of noting, Wolf, the only place on the map that's even relatively even is going to be in the jungle. And that's just because Tomio can't actually gank anybody, right? Everybody's so shoved on Blue Squad's side that there's no way to go for the gank. And look at this. It will be a trade for first blood because of the explosive cask. Dyrus cleans up after we see Fake God just drop their ultimate right on the Gragas' head, but this is just another statement of dominance on the reset. I think Alawi is just going to walk back even stronger than before.
Yeah, I like that ego play from Tomio. Just, you know, telling him, put him in the dirt. You're too old. Stop playing. And, you know, he just ends it. I think that's still pretty worth. Olaf gets the kill. Maybe that's minor miscalculation for him not thinking that Olaf's topside, but oh my god. I'm a Cutie Pie.
Moonlight Vigil as well. If that last Calibrum shot hit, I think that Disguise would have just picked up another kill through the bot. But it looks like for the time being, I'm a Cutie Pie and Shifter just have to walk all the way back to the tier 2 tower, which certainly is not really much of a comfort given the fact that Disguise is getting more plates and Dragon is going down. But, you know, at least the best meme Dream Team will live to fight another day.
Oh my god, watching that play, I was wincing. I'm like, oh my god, he's about to get taken down. But I think, you know, a little bit of the heads gap across the board, you know, like it seemed like it was gonna be a close match in the first like 2 minutes, and then from there it's been all downhill. So Kha'Zix taking both neutral objectives first, huge win for red side, gonna snowball them even further. Bot lane basically taking the turret. I think, did they take the turret? It's like, it's really
Yeah, they got first turret, man.
Yeah, they already got it. I thought I looked at it, but yeah, they already got first turret. 10 minutes into the game, they're going to swap top or mid, most likely. They might just want to leave Alawi on an island here. So that would be good if they just swap mid instead. Yep, looks like that's what they're going to do. And they're just going to keep getting plays. This Victor cannot stop Aphelios Heimer, at least to the degree that he would need to with his amount of gold. So it's again, still looking really tough. I don't know what they're going to do to pull like a magic hat. Maybe if they snowball Victor, maybe if they get like a miracle fight, snowball the Victor, get him some stacks. So he get upgraded ability, gets, you know, better wave clear, just better damage in general, more items. Maybe he'll be able to do something and stabilize, but for right now, it's looking like a really hard sell with a almost 4.5k deficit.
And for those of you who may be a little bit newer to League coming in because you saw that Disguised Toast is building up a team, I got a note here. Even though the kill score is 1-1, that does not matter. You aren't playing for points at the end of the day. You're playing for gold. And so the metrics on the left and right of that middle part of the screen is actually what you want to keep an eye on. And on that front, Disguised is obliterating the best meme Dream Team. This is a game where it feels like they've gotten aced multiple times so far, and Disguised is just reaping the benefits with full control of the Rift. Eye of the Herald is now in Tomio's back pocket, and so another gank prior to the 14-minute mark is probably going to lead to yet another tier 1 falling, if not even more.
Yep, and now I just want to take a second to look at item completions across the board. Look how close everyone is. So Aphelios is basically at 1 item. I think he's building Storm Razor first. He was probably like 300 gold off base. So he has it on back, most likely. Heimerdinger, halfway, he has tier 2 boots and a lost chapter. So he's going to sustain for a while, but he's also, I think, going to be closer to his item, probably around like 15, 17 minutes, I would say he's probably going to complete it. Varus far off, Victor far off. Olaf getting first item because he hasn't had to spend gold anywhere else. And then top lane, probably the farthest off first item besides the support. It's just ridiculous. They're going to use Herald maybe get some plates. Going to chunk the tower, looking for one more plate on the Aphelios. Again, just leveraging that gold lead into oblivion. Maybe Tomio's going to look for a plate on Scarra, but Scarra's going to E out. Fake God's gonna get more damage and just delay his recall for another 10 seconds.
Good on Skara to respect the priority of Disguise, though Tomio goes on a little bit of an invade angle, and now, while Dyrus is caught out, I think that he probably has the tools necessary to zoom away from both the Alawi and the Kazakhs. In fact, with the tier 1 tower right there, I don't really think that Disguise has the health to go for a full-on play. Now they actually have to try to get out of dodge because Shifter has rotated in. Zazal is here to back him up, make this a 3v3, and once again, Skara, actually this time it's Dyrus, is just getting smacked by the Tested Spirit, and everything just seems like it's going wrong for the Best Beam Dream Team. This is a decent rotation on their part, but now you allow for the Aphelios to just grab more more pressure in the mid lane. Meech is basically the whole team for Disguised, but the problem is you could also say Fake God is the entirety of Disguised, and while Young definitely has been the one to be least focused on, the fact of the matter is they're still also immensely strong with the bounty of their own.
Yeah, I think a better way to put it is that each player on Disguised is like 1v9 and a monster on their own at this point. Like, just again, looking at the gold and the deficits across the board, like, even though Young maybe like hasn't really done much this game, he also still has a 1k gold lead on his opponent. There's just a lot of gapping going on right now, mainly in the CS department, but man, 860 CS diff on the top lane, and then minor CS leads everywhere else. It's amounting to a lot across the board. Zazel going to look for some poke onto the Gragas, but Bump Lane going to save him. And Dyrus just looking for what he can, like looking for anything, just trying to run down somebody. But one of the things with the Alawi pick R5 that made it so good, again, is that Gragas Olaf can't do anything. Alawi hasn't had to have any pressure put on her, and she just rushed Hullbreaker because she does not care.
Oh, Skara. He's got to be so careful because this is the tier 1 tower going down. Eventually, after the Alawi E lands, Skara recognizes he has to back off, but Fake God is on a mission to continue to clear these waves out and now pressure the tier 2 tower as well. Hullbreaker rush, by the way, for this champion.
Yeah, he's just doing what he wants to do. He knows he can't be touched, and he never will be touched probably this entire game. Anytime where he's gonna be touched, he's probably just gonna wipe their entire team and everyone's dead as soon as he's focused. So, you know, it's tough. There's not a lot of like analysis to say right now because I think like Delta Fox is just trying to look for anything they can get, but it's just so doomed everywhere that there's not a lot they can get. I think probably looking at like going back to the drawing board, probably just send Olaf top and just like hope for the skill matchup. Maybe just don't pick Olaf because he can be this polarizing unless he's like a counter pick usually. I don't know. Maybe look for something that can the jungle that can just facilitate.
Huge play in the mid lane with the tier 1 tower going down. Meech is just able to provide so much artillery fire. I'm a Cutie Pie already taken out, and the Aphelios is going to claim a double kill of their own, killing both the Milio and the Olaf on the back end of that one. The Best Mean Dream Team have lost everything, and now Skara is getting dove with the Alawi ultimate smacking away. Tentacle time is going to pay dividends, as I believe this tier 2 tower is not only going to be the thing falling topside, but also the Gragas as well.
Yeah, and just, you know, Alawi just being able to get hits onto the Gragas and then the clone to finish him off. Just well played. But again, to be expected. They also they lost I think a 3v3 man, maybe a 4v4, not exactly sure. They're gonna look for Tomio top lane. Voidblade might have enough damage, but Alawi's just healing from her passive.
Yeah, Fake God's gonna stand and fight this, which is so impressive to see given the fact that they don't have ultimate. Shifter even takes some sideline fire there because of the tentacles slamming down upon them, and so while eventually Fake God does have to back off, it's mostly just to cash out rather than there being any real tangible fear of any of these Delta Fox members.
Yeah, I wonder if he lost HP on that trade. He looked pretty healthy afterwards. You know, just shows the power of Hullbreaker. He was sitting on like 3k gold, by the way. He's bought a full black cleaver and I think a pink ward. So,
oh dear.
You know, oh dear is right. They're gonna claim tier 2. They're probably tier 2 mid. They're probably gonna look tier 2 bot now. Still 3 minutes off the Baron, so that's probably what they're gonna play for. They're probably just gonna force an end. It's gonna be really hard stopping Disguise from just like keep obliterating this game. Tomio's just gonna keep fishing for ease, fishing for damage. Doesn't even have to care about phase taking anything. He just doesn't take damage.
Not at all. Dyrus really tempting fate right there by walking forward just a little bit more, and now that ultimate is activated yet again. Voyboy is actually the one to take the brunt of the damage there because of the Testis Spirit. Meanwhile, we have Meech on the chakrams in the mid lane. Tomio does get taken incredibly low, but with the Shelly dropped, the bug has done his job. He's able to just flash to safety, and nobody can answer back against Meech either. Tomio just gonna heal up off of the enemy Gromp, and that is basically a sign that everything is over. There's no response to any of these members. Disguised just cannot be cleaned up on the map anymore. The best meme dream team crumble in front of our very eyes.
Yeah, there's just not enough like early game presence with the way the game unfolded that really lends anything. Again, Olaf can facilitate. Oh, Olaf's gonna get half his HP gone. Goodbye, buddy. He's gonna W at the end. Not even gonna take the shield off. Fortunately, but there's just not enough pressure. Bot lane got 2v2 mollywopped, and Olaf didn't really do anything bot lane. Tomio was just hovering it, making sure that their bot lane could just play like that, and you know, it just becomes truly hard to play. There's not much really that anyone I think on Delta Fox could do. Voyboy just trying to stabilize as well. It's just early game all around. All 5 lanes got gapped, which I think if we're hoping for NA talent, that's exactly what we want to see.
Exactly.
Like, you know, these washed up players, these former pro players, you know, getting destroyed by the new talent, you know. I think that's good to see overall, but you know, it kind of hurts my heart as a fan of you know, these old veterans.
I think that this is a good statement though as to how people should look at NA talent though, because while a lot of the concern, a lot of the complaints about the current state of the LCS is built upon the fact that there's kind of an overemphasization of foreign players, there is also kind of an overemphasization of older players that have established brands, right? And so let's cart those corpses out of here. Let's look at what Disguise is bringing to the table, because right now they are obliterating some of the early game icons here in League of Legends. Has Fake God actually backed, or did they just walk right over to the tier 2 and start smacking it again? I think that given the fact they still only have the Black Cleaver and Hullbreaker, they actually have not taken a base in the past like 7 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to at this point. Again, his last pack was 3k gold. This one is going to be 2k. He's just waiting for that completed item, honestly. He could just keep waiting.
And Voyboy has to flash out of the Calibrum shot. That is really just an indicator of how this game is going. Meech still has Moonlight Vigil up, and this inhibitor is about to go down. So the Best Beam Dream Team has maybe one more fight left in them. The problem is I have no clue where they're supposed to take it. Baron Nashor is about to come up. We'll see if Disguise even wants to back off to take that, or if they're looking to just limit test with the raw end here. Either way, neither of those options seems particularly cromulent for Delta Fox, although Voyboy does try to rush forward to get some poke down onto Meech, and that does pull out the Moonlight Vigil without any real follow-up. So that's something at the very least. Now Skara is also looking for an assassination play with her explosive cast down onto the Aphelios, but it just doesn't matter. Young hands off the aggro, gets the double kill, and while they do eventually die to the Nexus turret, now Fake God is able to walk forward, and yes, they are below half health, but we see what that means for the Alawi. They're just able to cash out in a big way now that Dyrus is dead. Here comes the ultimate, the Denny's Grand Slam, obliterating, tearing through Delta Fox, and this looks all but over.
Yeah, they're gonna march on the Nexus, Alawi not carrying the back. TP. Hyman are gonna find the kill on Voyboy, and you know, they're just gonna keep smacking the turrets. It's over. Shifter's placing some wards. He's gonna try and defend the base with some vision. You know, maybe the wards are gonna spawn some extra turrets on top, but Shifter also gonna just one-shot there. Oh my. Looks like they're not gonna be able to end just yet. They have 3 inhibs taken. They could technically just like do Baron, do Infernal, and just end. Maybe the minions will just do that for them. That'd be pretty funny. Maybe they just let the minions end and open. You know, go to bed, early bedtime. But this game will be wrapped up very shortly.
Yeah, teleport back in. It looks like Disguised wants this to be basically over with. I think the Fake God can probably solo this alone up against 5 members. The real Alawi limit test time, right now, they're just buying a little bit of space so that they can get their ultimate back up. They may be denied the opportunity to do so, yet even with only the cash out, they're still going to be able to kill someone on the back end of this before eventually dying to the combination of Chaos Storm and the Olaf Rushdown. That is going to go over to Voyboy, but that is a worthy distraction. When you're split pushing into the base from mid lane, you know that this guy's get whatever they want on the map, and that is going to come in the form of Baron Nashor finally pushing through with the empowered super minions and the teleport in. This is going to be it. More and more empowered minions now, all boosted up by Young, who, yeah, is getting run down by a few members, but they're able to just disappear under their shroud as Tomio comes to play. Zazal's here as well, to stand still watching the Sakali get whittled low, and it just doesn't matter even as the assassin falls. It is so far a 2 for 3 on the extended play, and the rest of the Best Meme Dream Team just have to sit within the fountain. Tomio will die to the laser, but already the entire team has been aced, and already at the 22-minute mark, we are seeing the end of game number 1, Wolf.
Yeah, wow. Again, what a stomp. That's the only thing I can really say after that. What a stomp and what a stomp. 22-minute victory. A little bit for funding at the end, of course. It's going to happen. It was a pretty huge goal deficit, you know. But good fun all around to watch that. I wonder how they're gonna Delta Fox is gonna try and shape up for game 2. I wonder what they're gonna change. I think they just changed the jungle pick a little bit, something more laner centric than something like self carry. It didn't work here. It's really hard to do like a carry champion Kha'Zix who will just one shot you, and it has some of that good utility for the mid game in the form of Evolve W. So I think they're gonna have to switch their bands up a little bit. Switch their jungle pickup and see what they can do from there. Maybe play something slightly more lane dominant bot, or maybe play it in a way where they're gonna win. Who knows? But we'll see how it happens.
Clearly, I don't think that Delta Fox has a chance by going for tradition. Wolf, Disguised has played so many reps versus all number of classic meta champions, and it's just not paying off here. We saw what I thought was a more standard team just get completely folded in half, basically at the 5-minute mark and beyond, through total and utter domination of the laning phase. It wasn't even a matter of picking up kills left, right, and center. The first thing that we saw in the game in terms of kills was actually a trade on the top side. What really mattered here was the fact that Scar was getting Flame Horizon, and the tower bot was basically whittled from minute 1. There was literally no real way that the Best Meme Dream Team could find themselves with the space necessary to go for neutral objectives, and so by that front, all metrics failed on their team, and Disguise got everything that they so desired.
Yeah, as soon as bot lane showed up the lane, they were shoved in and just like constantly pushed in and demolished. So again, it's just all lanes got pushed in, all lanes got kind of gap. Again, they just have to draft differently. They have to make sure they have a winning lane. They need to have some winning combinations. Play around that. I think it could have been bot lane in that game, even though they were being shoved in really hard. I think
wait,
Akali
had a
maybe
44%.
do something. The way Tomio played it, he wins 1v1. Covering bot lane, just making sure they get to play uncontested, and again, it makes their lane game hard. So switch up the picks. I think they'll have a better chance next game. Will it matter in the end? I don't know. Maybe a hands diff. Maybe just a game knowledge diff. The meta did just shift up a bit, so we'll see. But I'm excited for game 2. I hope it's a little bit closer.
Well, this gives us a little bit of time as everybody rallies and gets back into the lobby. Wolf, what do you think about 13.11?
I read the patch notes, haven't had a chance to play on it, but I think a lot of what's changing a little bit isn't that much. Let me pull up the patch notes again to give myself a refresher, but I don't think anything really hard is changing. I think Yomu's nerf is really good. I think that's
Thank God.
They really had to hit. They cited it as a clear winner, like above clear winner, insanely above average. Giving double the lethality on your first item is kind of bonkers, but I think otherwise, just reading through the patch, some mid lane shakeups.
And then for pick rate,
that's probably the biggest thing. Just some of the mid lane matchups are changing a little bit. Rel mid scope. What do you, as a support player, what do you think of the Rel mid scope?
As someone with like 200,000 points on Rel, I actually like one-tricked her for a significant part of last season. I have to say, I'm a little bit worried. I have yet to play on PvE or play with the new changes, but I'm just so used to like tether and whatnot. For me, one of the things that Rel excelled on was having virtual CC in the time between your W and your E going off. I think that this is what a lot of people didn't understand about her, is that you aren't immediately W into Eing. You actually had like significant time off of the knockup plus glacial to just kind of sit there, hammer away with your Q and auto attacks, which obviously are very, very slow, but then you can E after the fact, and you have a very solid like 2 seconds of CC that is AoE oriented, especially during team fights when you also have Magnet Storm available. And so when people say, oh, she actually just didn't really work because she didn't have enough left lockup. I disagreed with that, and I think that, you know, while some of these like speed changes make it so that she may have a little bit less telegraphed of engage, it's still exceptionally telegraphed. And so, as someone who doesn't like new things and someone who has had basically every champion I love mid-scoped and reworked into oblivion, I hope this works out. I don't have as much faith as a lot of people seem to, though.
Yeah, we'll forget it. We're sad for Talia Midscope. Ruined your chances at hitting like master tier this season. But I will say, just again, reading through the rel like patch changes, I think they're just kind of making her tankier. They're making her like more of a pseudo tank than she already was, which I think is good, and giving her a little bit more utility to play with the team instead of just like all in engage. So at some point I'll probably try it out and see what's up. You know, maybe it could jungle. That'd be pretty. Probably not, but you know, just see what's up with her. See if she's actually pretty good, pretty cool champion. They did give her some like extra monster damage for some reason. Her Q does 250% damage to jungle camps, and I think I'm not sure what ability you max first right now on New Rel, but if maybe maybe there's some jungle cast shenanigans. But besides that, you know, again, some changes in the mid. Ivern changes. That's the other interesting one, I think. Another like small, I don't want to say mid skill, but like another small adjustment where they're making him shield better. Is either going to shield better or it's going to, let me see. Let me read this again. Was it the last patch as well? Did they change it or is it only this patch?
I believe it's just this patch.
Yeah, so it just like, it used to double the shield, but I guess they changed that. They didn't actually do that. What they did instead was it just like renewed the duration. So if it explodes and it doesn't hit anybody, then it just like stays on, I guess. It used to just give another entire shield on top of that, which may be a little bit too broken, I guess. I guess they removed that. But overall, I think they made some changes to Daisy, made her a little bit easier to control and play, do some adjustments to scaling. W brush now like getting it gets, if you're not in control of the bush, like your team's not in the bush, and it just like falls off after 5 seconds. I think that's an interesting change. I think allies getting on-hit damage in the W while they're in the bush is actually pretty interesting. It makes him again more of a support champion. He wasn't as much of a support champion as like an actual support, and like maybe some other like supportive junglers or mid laners that have come in the past. But now I think he's going to be a little bit more interesting. He's going to be a better support champion, and maybe we're going to see more combos with him. Maybe making Ivern Rengar a little bit more broken in the bot lane.
I would love that, man. I used to play a lot of Ivern support as well, so obviously it's a champion that's going to get changed. Okay, I'm calling it here, actually. If Taric gets mid-scoped in the next, like, year, I'm quitting League. I will not play anymore. I will obviously watch and cast, but you know, if they also do something to my boy Taric, I think literally every person I've ever mained, except for Milio, because Milio just came out, has in fact gotten at least a mid-scope level rework. But back onto topic with Ivern, I think that he is actually very well oriented to like a support position. How does the buff sharing work with him? Because in the past, if you were support Ivern, you still got to buff share. Obviously, you were the only one who could like pick it up if it was someone else taking it. But that was always a fun little bonus to have on that pick. I don't really know how it's going to tie into how he works now.
Yeah, so what they did for junglers across the board is after you upgrade your full smite, and either somebody else on your someone else on your team, or you take the red or blue buff, essentially sprite, which I think is the kind of the current one that's already there, like spawns, and it gives your team a buff or you a buff depending on who killed it, which I think is good. I think it's not as impactful as it maybe was in previous seasons where you give like second or third blue buff to your mid lane and they just be able to lane for so much longer. Now it's after your full smite is like taken, which can take a little bit longer into the game, or like 20-25 minutes, I would say, depending on the champion. So I think that's an interesting move. I think it's solid. I don't think it's bad at all. I think it ends up being pretty good and pretty nice change overall. But it looks like we're getting into draft. So we're gonna see from blue side, which is now disguised, we're gonna see Teemo and Ornn banned, and from red side, we're gonna see Nico banned. So this not disguised. Delta Fox still sticking with the Nico ban. Now just and we're gonna ban Akali now, not wanting to deal with those matchups. I'm guessing in the mid lane, and it looks like Delta Fox banning not Delta Fox. I'm just mixing up the teams now because they're on the other side. Disguise banning Akshan, Ornn, Teemo, which I'm not sure what that's for. Maybe some sort of Void Boy Akshan, some I can't remember who top lane is anymore. My brain is dying. Some Ornn top lane, some Teemo top lane, just some trolling shenanigans across the board. Maybe they're gonna try and spell something out. I can't tell. but it's bands that are not necessarily meta-centric, but they are just a little bit for fun. And they're gonna see a Rengar band from Red Side. So what do you think?
Oh,
Of
they're
all that?
actually gonna spell toast, aren't they? It's TOA so far. Timo, Orn, Akshan.
Oh
Right now
my
it's
god,
Toa if you're like a Bionicle fan, but that's pretty sick, you know. And honestly, I think that Orn bans need to happen more, man. This champion is so gross, and for some reason, they've just never nerfed it, and I do not understand why.
It's like Blippo says, if you're a good tank player, you can play tanks into anything, be impactful. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And Orn is like the most impactful tank, hot take.
True, he's one of the most impactful tanks for sure. Like consistently, like Orn will always generate value. So he is a good pick for most impactful tank. But now what we're gonna see maybe they're gonna spell something out in their picks. Probably not, but that'd be an extra layer of funny.
Yeah, Rel. What can you do? It's like reverse Wardle. What can you do with an R start in 5 picks that is relevant to where League of Legends is right now? Okay, RCS doesn't really spell much of anything.
No. Maybe it'll even out when they move around their picks, but most likely not. It's gonna be Rel, Corky, Skarner. I think they're definitely memeing on this one. It would be so funny if that was just like a Rel top and just like I'm not sure if they're playing on point 11. I can't tell. Let me see if I can see if they're on point 11.
They are on point 11. This is just on live
So
servers.
this is literally new Rel. He's just first timing it. Like first time.
Oh my god!
So
Time to read those abilities as you walk to lane, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna system casting. Where I'm gonna be like reading all the abilities one by one. What they do, like they're remembering their names, but it's and then what do you see from Red Side here? We saw Nautilus, Wukong, Vayne. So the classic I'm a cutie pie Vayne, the classic Dyrus Wukong, which I don't think is a classic at all, and then Nautilus. Just overall solid picks. Vayne
The classic
bad.
shifter Nautilus.
Yeah, the classic shifter Nautilus, the classic int. But yeah, they're definitely spelling toast on the left side. That is for damn sure. Banning the Shaco. No reason to ban Shaco besides spelling. I don't know what Delta Fox is gonna do to try and like salvage the draft. I mean, obviously they're still looking okay, but I don't know if they're going to be able to win with this, even though this guy's is memeing. We'll see. They banned Fiora and Mordekaiser, so they're trying to get favorable matchups top. Maybe looking to flex Wukong top, but it's hard to say. And then the last band, what is that? Trundle? Yeah, it's Trundle. Sheesh. And then Karthus. Okay, I don't know where this Karthus. Oh, Karthus mid. Voidblade plays Karthus mid. So it might just be that, but it's a little bit of a flex.
Yeah, a little bit of a flex coming pretty late into this draft phase. I mean, Nautilus can honestly go wherever at this point. It seems to be full lane anarchy with this champion post MSI. I'm a little bit sad that we didn't see like Leona, Corky, Skarner, and then you could go with a P champion and an A champion here at the end for the LCS Players Association. A little bit of secret solidarity, but Disguised is going to eschew that to go for what is still a very wonky team composition. Let's not lie. Is this Nasus jungle? It could be Skarner jungle, I guess, with the Nasus top. But that's at least implies we're getting an atypical bot laner, most likely going to be the Corky from Meech.
Yeah, definitely. I think everything right there is just atypical. I think they still have a good shot at winning because I think the way they played the last game is just so much higher than the other one. But Delta Fox still has a lot of really strong picks here. A lot of, again, good scaling through their team. So maybe they're just going to be able to win this anyway. It's going to be Karthus top, casted in mid. So I don't know how to feel about that. Karthus is just going to farm, I guess. So it's pretty okay into the Nasus. Kassadin is just going to hope to scale against the Katarina. Yeah, they're scaling on Delta Fox's side. Maybe if Wukong gets some kills and starts snowballing, then it might actually be pretty winnable. Skarner's not going to always have the easiest time ulting him, so it actually could be winnable. And on terms of the blue side, we're seeing Tomio on Corky. Tomio on Corky, do they have to swap? I guess they're not swapping. Okay, so
Now the question is this Corky jungle with the farming Rel and the Nasus support Or are they just full role swapping? That's the real question. I mean, we're getting the lock-in on the loadout, so this is in fact going to be who's piloting what. It's gonna be Zazal on the Nasus. We got Fake God on Katarina. I just don't know where they're going is the thing.
Yeah, I think they have to be lane swapping. My brain was like, what the heck is this? What am I looking at here?
Oh.
Like trying to rationalize like their real NASA spot. I think they're definitely swapping, like just like who's playing what, which I think is a little bit maybe too for fun for what I'd want to see, but like it's fine.
Hear me out, man. There is nothing that can't do what we saw, if that makes sense. You could have Katarina top. I don't know if Corki can actually clear the jungle. That's the only concern. But theoretically, you could have Rel Nasus bot, right? Nasus support is something that LS has expounded upon. I actually do not think it's terrible into a Vayne. I think that's actually kind of based if you wither the Vayne. I guess Skarner can mid. Skarner can top, so Skarner can mid, right? I think Disguise might just be going in their regular lanes. It's super hard to tell.
Yeah, maybe that'd be. I think it would be insane if they did, though. To be honest, I don't think it'd be a close match if they did. And then I'll be proved wrong, and then it'll just snowball and win everything. But I think they're definitely in a lane swap. I think with the champions they have, assuming they're in the proper lanes, I think their comp is not that great, obviously. But it's all going to come down to this Corki, how fed he can be, how fed Nasus is going to be on the side with like Hullbreaker shenanigans. And then the other thing is just if Katarina snowballs, like she's gonna have a lot of room to like 1v9 this. There's a little bit of CC with like Wukong and Nautilus that make Katarina a little bit annoyed in general, even if like the other champions weren't in the game. But I think most likely with the level of skill of this player, I think he'll just find ways to get the kills, get the resets, play safe, and then just like completely destroy everything. So we'll see how it goes. I think again, there's gonna be a lot of shenanigans.
Yep, a lot of shenanigans is how I view this one as well. Disguised at the very least are when they go for suboptimal drafts, able to go all out with their gameplay. They're just kind of operating with a handicap. So this is in a way the best of both worlds, if you think about it, Wolf. We're going to be able to see like the highest level of piloting these picks. It's just a matter of, is their team comp going to cause this house of cards to fall over on top of them? Or I guess fall out from under them, as falling over or having a House of Cards fall over on top of you probably isn't that big of a deal if you think about it. It's, just paper.
Yeah. And maybe that's all Delta Fox is, just paper, even with the comp difference that they have. So
yeah,
we're loading into the game. You're gonna be like a minute or so or less. So as soon as I look at this, we can like finalize any final thoughts on these lane matchups.
well, I still don't know who's going in what lane, so it's hard for me to finalize thoughts on these lane matchups until we're literally in the game. It is Skarner with Smite, so this implies that it is going to be most likely Corki Rel bot. I imagine that overall they are going to go into their most optimal lanes, but there still is an option outside of the flip between Young and Tomio that we see something wild happen.
It looks like Rel is taking support item, and all the Summoners seem to think that they just lane swapped.
Sad.
Oh wait, Katarina though, maybe, just maybe. Oh no, they're just going for a ward bot lane. Maybe looking for a just cheeky flip on the new Rel.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be.
Will be interesting to see what this Rel does. As I have only read the descriptions, I do not know what any of her abilities look like anymore. I imagine they're relatively similar though. So let's see what happens. Meech certainly going to be leading the charge here. As you were kind of saying, this is just a matter of everybody kind of flip-flopping into different positions rather than us getting really, really novel lanes. Tomio is lagging behind on this invade, but it is in fact a fully committed invade as of right now for DSG versus Delta Fox Wolf. Let's see if anything comes of this. It looks like it's just going to be a restoration of the Spire. Not even really sure why you want to commit to doing that. It's not like Young is going to get any benefit of that early. But overall, it isn't like Delta Fox is doing much to answer back either. I'm kind of surprised that they're so passive, sitting behind the tier 1 tower mid, even with the Nautilus.
Yeah, I don't think their level 1's that bad, but it's certainly not like crazy. So it could have went either way. Level 1, I think they just don't want to flip it. Rel could be a little bit scary, so they're just gonna not deal with it. So we're gonna see Corki Rel bot lane, and this might be the highest level of play we're gonna see each of these champions in control, for a while at least.
Oh god, are they lane swapping to top?
Wait, that's hilarious.
I don't think that this is in the best meme dream team's best interest. I'll be 100% honest here, man. I think that they are the team that has to play as sanely as possible, because if they're the ones goofing off, getting the reduced XP from the top side of the map, you can just see a full-on disaster. Meech goes for the crash down onto the isolated Skara, who's certainly not going to have a good time in the 1v2.
Yeah, I don't think this is good for Scar in the long run, but it's certainly a way to make sure Nasus doesn't have a good landing phase. Maybe that's what they care more about. Their Nasus just having like a bad landing phase, and their Karthus just like sacrificial lamb, Scion type things. So I think they're just gonna have to stick with it. They have to fully commit to this now, and just hope it works out. Because a swap like this could be, again, like really detrimental. Karthus is gonna take a while to come online, and maybe he's just gonna be okay dying under tower. But it looks like Nautilus is taking more of like just a roam approach, getting some deep vision, like trying to find the corner, rather than just sitting in lane and soaking up deeper Vayne. So Vayne's gonna have an easier time at least. And it looks like Nautilus is gonna miss the hook mid. And
here's the dive set up bot side already for DSG though, and Skara just has no real response to this, and great damage sharing there is going to keep everything stable. Meech on that very edge of death was the one that was in a lot of trouble, but Tomio with the full health bar is able to just kind of sit around and continue to just slam onto these plates. There is a teleport channeled, and it looks like Skara is going to come back immediately after falling, but honestly there's not a whole lot that they can do to clean that up.
Yeah, and again, when we look across the board, they're going to have to go for a dive top now, which is what they're looking to do. Rel's trying to get to there in time. I guess she's going to abandon that. She's going to let it be, walk to the bot side. And now Zeyzal can be in some trouble. Vayne's having trouble getting it fully shoved in time, so Nasus is going to be good for a while.
Oh, no.
Like, they're not going to be able to dive, and Nautilus is going to reset. So, you know, it's looking rough already. Just having that dive go down, having Karthus die, and then not being able to get anything across the map really is just a little bit of a frustrating experience, I'll say, if I was the Karthus player.
Yeah, 100%. The fact that Zeyzal basically just had to drop W, and that was about it in order to keep that lane stable, means that the best meme dream team is going to have to go for a full reassembly of the Avengers if they want to try to do anything like that again. And Nasus is only going to get tankier from here on out. On the comparative, CS is relatively better for the best meme dream team this time around, but that's just because of how atypical this early start is. Actually, Fake God might be in a little bit of trouble on this Katarina. They flash to safety, but Dyrus is able to pick them, and Meech is overextended and so slow in that crash down form. Voyboy picks that up, and I'm not really sure why DSG instigated that in the bot side river, but regardless, best meme dream team are going to clean house, and from there, they find themselves in the very first gold lead of this entire series.
Yeah, first time they've had not a long series, but the first time they have had a gold lead. And that's going to be really good for them early game. Cassin getting a kill, Wukong getting a kill. Like, those are the champions you want to be able to snowball to impact the rest of the map. And again, Nasus is just chilling. So if they're able to get those laners ahead, you're going to have a lot of dive opportunities, a lot of kill opportunities, and it's going to look way better. It's going to be harder for Disguise to be able to really like engage on them. So I like seeing that. Wukong still has the base. He's basing now. Probably going to play for an early dragon. Nice pickup from double Caulfield and Longsword, spending all his gold. And yeah, I think now they're just going to stabilize for a little bit.
There is a level advantage for Disguise in the bot lane because of Shifter's early roaming, but Tomio has to stay very far back with that lack of health. While Meech is posturing aggressively, I don't know if this is going to be enough, but that's a great double knockup. Shifter is ignited, will fall to Tomio, and now Skara is yet again isolated. All too familiar of a situation for this player. Meech frontlining for the time being, getting a good stun off of the reworked Q, but luckily Karthus has the wave clear to, I think, prevent being dived this time. However, mid lane, Voyboy might not be so lucky. Young is running at them, but like a bat out of hell, they basically just whiff one ability and have to walk right back away.
Yeah, just crossing mid, might as well throw an ability and see what happens. But Shifter, again, from the early roaming, he's really weak, only level 2, and just got taken down. So it's a good look up. It's a good look from Disguise, being able to find that kill, being able to lock it down. And I think when Scar got stunned there by the rail Q, I wasn't expecting it because I forgot, and then he certainly wasn't expecting it because he definitely didn't anticipate this.
Oh,
but Tomio looking to fall mid. He's gonna try and run away, but it looks like Cassin's gonna be able to stick on him using every ability, using the Rift Walk. Skarner bailing her out, but he's gonna have to bail off on the dragon. Voyboy flashing in with the Rift Walk. This guy's young, trying to run away now. Rel forcing the flash. Voyboy still looking for more blood, but he's gonna run out of mana soon. And they're just gonna look to finish the dragon now with Dyrus.
Not really any way for Rel to go back in on this, unfortunately. The health deficit, the fact that Katarina is in there means that DSG has to wait for Tomio to get into the area, but this is a massive overextension by Delta Fox. However, Meech is not able to do enough with their newfound CC to actually secure a kill. This Corki has not scaled up just yet, and because that's the case, Delta Fox is actually going to be able to pick up another. They have lost their gold lead, but they're keeping things much more even at the 7-minute mark than what we saw in the first round.
Yeah, that rail engage was absolutely crazy. Just the stun into the W, which I guess is now going to be a little bit more of the new combo, but just not being tanky enough and having enough damage to be dealt on the enemy team to really make that like insanely worthwhile. And now we're seeing top lane, like Nasus was down like 10 CS, and now it's pretty even. So not much of a gap going on between this Vayne Nasus matchup. Nasus is pretty stable. He's gonna look for a reset soon, probably because I think he's low on mana, but still has enough for a few Qs.
A lot of this game for the Best Mean Dream Team right now is going to be in the hands of Boy at 2-0-1 on the Kassadin. As Scar is yet again isolated in the bot side of the map, you cannot rely upon this champion until very, very late. Same thing can be said for the cast, but at least given the fact that they have a little bit better of a gold lead right now than anything that we witnessed in the first match, they at least will be relevant once they get 2 items, which will come sooner than anything that we witnessed from that first game, where I don't actually think anyone on Delta Fox actually got to second item.
Yeah, I don't think anyone did. I think that's a good point. God damn. But again, I think they're still in an okay spot, down to 1k gold. But I think Delta Fox again, Boy's getting fed on the Kassadin, and Darius is in a good spot in the Wukong, where as soon as he gets enough, his first item is gonna be good. But now they're gonna look onto Zeyzal, gonna have to flash, gonna ult, and then that could then just like ruin that play. God damn.
Yeah, the problem is that he went Flash Ghost, right? And therefore, Zeyzal is never really in danger of dying if he has about half of the lane to walk. Any more than that, maybe there's a little bit more of a risk, but the problem is it's very difficult in this long lane for I'm a Cutie Pipe to get a good condemn down to follow up on the Whirlwind, and therefore, as a whole, Delta Fox yet again are just hungry for a kill, but unable to get it at least through the top side of the map, although Meech just has to W away from that play. Too many Red Squad members are there.
Yep, not much of a thing Dyrus is able to do there. Doesn't have the ulti. Tomio getting a trade onto Voyboy, gonna burn his ulti for like no reason, and the snap to back away. Pretty unfortunate, you know. Maybe thought he was gonna get all in, so he ulted early, but ends up just not being able to get anything off the ult. It's probably gonna be okay because they're not gonna contest Rift, and Dragon's in a few minutes. I don't know how long exactly, but so they're gonna have time. It's gonna be okay, but. Again, Scar taking a beating on this bot side. Skarner looking behind the turret, just going to drag him out. You're dead, buddy. See ya. Oh, he's going to get the return kill, though. A little bit of a wasted ult, but he does get the kill before he before the ult, so I think he's going to get an ultimate hunter stack to be okay with that.
Yeah, the fact that Scar manages to access a kill there is really valuable. They're now actually at 2 and 3, which is not that horrible of a KDA for a Karthus. Excuse me. I've seen far worse. Trust me. Mostly from my solo queue games, unfortunately, but as a whole, you got to hand it over to Delta Fox for keeping their heads about them. They are only 1,000 gold down versus Disguise, and frankly, this time around, Red Squad has the scaling pressure, and they have a lot of champions that can access a very, very strong late game. Yet again, it's Zeyzal getting pressured on the top side of the map, but he's just happy to just stand there in the 2v1 after the hook lands and make sure that I'm a Cutie Pie does not have the health to go for a tower dive, even as the Rift Herald is being dropped. However, Dyrus is coming through, and now the 1v3 might be a little bit more awkward for sure. It's going to be another Cyclone knocking this champion up. A great coverage from Meech is going to prevent disaster for Disguise in the top side.
Yeah, that was a really good read from Meech. You know, Nasus buys a lot of time on the initial play by ulting. They not being able to do like any damage to the Nasus, like, and he's just gonna be able to. He was able to walk away, regroup, and then on that dive, you know, Dyrus just doesn't do a lot of damage yet, and his ulti was kind of a waste. He didn't end up getting anything accomplished. You know, they looked for the dive, but again, they didn't have the damage to follow through with it, which I think is kind of unfortunate. Karthus still bleeding, gonna be mid now, so it's gonna be easier for Katarina to do something. Maybe we're gonna look for an ego play, but no, we're just gonna see CS farmed and an E out.
Let's be honest, Fate God is a little bit too far behind the ego at this point in time. That's the classic Katarina solo queue ego if you go for that, where you're down like 0-3, 0-4, and they just blame the jungler, right?
Damn right, I would have done that there. You go for the ego test under the turret, reset Scar's gold for a better dive, but Looks like Rel's going to look for the Karthus now. Not going to be able to get it.
Oh.
Might be in a little bit
Yeah.
of trouble. Has to flash out, but Karthus is doing so much damage on the Qs. Meech is going to be able to dodge it. Katarina going in. Corki looking for some more damage. Kassan now going in. Getting a little bit of damage. Maybe going to look for another Rift Walk in, another slow. Shifter probably looking for another hook. No one's going to end up falling in that play.
Impressive zoning from DSG, I'll be 100% honest here. The fact that the Rel didn't die is a testament to how well coordinated this team is, because in any other situation, Meech would have been left for dead, trust me. Rel is so slow, but the fact that they are able to sidestep a lot of the Karthus Qs, and then Fake God actually sacrifices their ultimate to zone away the rest of Red Squad means that now Disguise is able to play off the back of this Corki package. I'm a Cutie Pie less than half health, and this is a suppression by Young to try to drag them towards this bot side tier 1 tower. However, Skara is now channeling the Requiem, and that is burning down so many Blue Squad members. Tomio trying to stay alive and do as much artillery fire as they can in the meantime. However, yet again, Fake God is going to die in this play. However, this guy still has the energy to continue to push forward with Zazal here, slowing down these champions, dropping the Spirit Fire, getting the empowered auto off Shifter, who just has to dredge line back. Dyrus using their ultimate in much a similar way to the Katarina, just zoning away the scary members of Disguise. And here comes Tomio returning to the Rift off that teleport. Here's Shifter coming forward. They're going to sacrifice themselves to Zazal. However, the follow-up from Meech means that the Best Beam Dream Team is still struggling to keep their members alive. Teleport going to be channeled by Void Boy to finally turn things around. And now, with the low health bars from Disguise, you can perhaps see a re-engage. Magnet Storm finally activated. Dragon in 3 members, but Void Boy will kill Meech. Zazal goes deep, gets Skara, but unfortunately, because of Karthus passive alongside the damage that the Kassadin is packing, the Best Beam Dream Team stabilized, and now they have first dibs over the Dragon once again.
That was a really good look from Best Beam Dream Team Delta Fox over there. They were able to find a good in the play, able to go back in, Void Boy coming with the TP and able to clean everyone up. That was really good. Rel engage almost turned it a little bit. HP bar started falling low, but not enough damage on the other side to be able to kill their targets, and Meech ended up falling, and as well as an ask. So they're going to pick up the Dragon here. Super good, super crucial. They have 2 Dragons now. They're going to look for 2 more. Katarina, crucially in that play, did not have Bork yet. Now she does, so she's going to be more of a threat and more of a DPS threat. And package there, I think, was a little bit interesting in the beginning of the fight. I don't know how much damage it really did. It kind of forced them into a play. They did get the Vayne, but I think in all other positionings, it looked a little bit rough. But I'm by taking a whole lot of damage against Tomio, and he's just going to shove that in. They're going to look for a play on him, though.
Triforce Corki, very, very scary, especially when you have 2 other members backing them up in this tier 1 tower. Even Sans Wave is not going to be enough to save I'm a Cutie Pie. It's actually a full 4-man up top side, trying to get priority prior to this minute-long spawn of the second Rift Herald. We'll see if Disguise is going to just grab that pretty soon. Right now, it's just a matter of moving the vision line and trying to get back towards mid lane, because that's where Delta Fox is currently cross-mapping.
Yeah, they're going to look for this top tier 2, and then they gave a little bit of damage on the tier 1 mid, but I think that's completely fine. I think they got the kill and made it hella worth it. They're going to get the top tier 1. Tomio's going to shove out that wave, and again, they're just playing for this Herald spawn. They have everyone on the top side of the map, with Zazal just pushing bot. He doesn't have TP, but he's also a threat in his own, where he'll just take the tower. I think he might be freezing and just slow pushing that wave, getting as many stacks as he can. Wukong going to take the red side. Rel going to look mid onto Skara. He's going to get CC'd. He's going to get Glacial Augmented. Rel coming in. Katarina finding the kill onto him. Gonna have to dodge some Qs, gets the second kill. It might not fall. Ignite's ticking. Leandri's is ticking. No one's gonna fall. Katarina and Rel are both still alive. And Zazal's gonna chunk out I'm a Cutie Pie.
A great 2v2 right there. Zazal is getting put into a 2v1 of their own, though. However, Dyrus is just unable to get the damage down onto this Nasus, who's really starting to break through into that mid-game monster that you know he can be. He's got plenty of stacks, got plenty of gold, has that Triforce as well, and Skarner following up means that this is now yet again another 2v2 that Delta Fox could struggle to do anything in. Dyrus is going to be able to get out of the suppression in time to channel their ultimate, and now with that Condemn, Young's in trouble. Zazal just going to activate their Ghost just run forward, but they don't actually have the ability to gap close fast enough. And I'm a Cutie Pie holds on for a double kill. Rel has to just back off from this one, and that is really valuable because Delta Fox gambled a lot on committing resources over to this Vayne play. Although now here comes Fake God yet again, and this time we see the wombo combo they were attempting in the mid lane pay dividends, as Shifter is also not long for this world. And I spoke too soon about Delta Fox being able to pay off that play. Now Corki's just hammering away at the mid tier 1 for free. There's no answer back, and this is total control of the game now given over to Disguise at about the 16-minute mark.
You know, I was going to say the hands finally start working. Gabby is able to do something, gets a double kill, and then he just gets mollywopped by the Rel Katarina roam down to bot lane. So we did see an unlikely hero in the Katarina, now 6-3, has the most kills in the game, besides Kassadin at 5. And, you know, just coming back from 0-2 deficit. I think now, again, it's all about who's going to snowball harder now. If Katarina is able to keep getting, if they're able to get the Rel gauges, and the Katarina is on top, and all the tanky Zazel and the Skarner just mollywopping everyone, I think we're looking really good. I think this guy's going to take over another game. And again, I want to see Delta Fox just look for more plays around Voyboy. Voyboy is scaling. He has 4 stacks on the Rod of Ages, so maybe a little bit more time to scale. Maybe there's not as much fighting. Maybe they give this next Drake in favor of just scaling some more. But I want to see Voyboy a little bit more involved in these plays now that he's so strong, and he's going to be even stronger. And he's kind of like the central focus on who has the most kills right now, besides like I'm a Cutie Pie, which arguably does damage, but not nearly as much. So I want to see that, and then I want to see Darius hit level 11 here, and then look for something again around mid.
Is Static Shiv Rush on Vayne actually what people are doing nowadays? It's a wild time on the Rift for sure. Zazal top, just gonna blast plant over the wall and give Scar the fright of a lifetime. And Karthus is a skeleton. He should not be afraid of things like that, but unfortunately the Dog God is just doing way too much, and he's able to just clear out this wave right in front of the Karthus passive too.
Yeah, but he's gonna heal with his passive and fleet of footwork against all the damage in his last hit the wave. Getting some more stacks. Nasus is a machine. He's scaling really hard. I don't know how many stacks he has, but he has way too many. As we see Shifter gonna look to fall, Joel's gonna go in, gonna finish him off. I'm excited by getting chunked. They're probably gonna look for some damage on the tier 2 tower here. We see Young zoning the Wukong on the left, making sure Wukong can't get in. And Dragon spawning within the next like 17 seconds. So they're probably gonna back off the turret and just look for that. Gonna make sure though that they clear out some vision, get maybe some DPS onto the Darius, and yeah, they're gonna look to take it.
And while this is happening, you have the NASA split pushing the top side for days. No teleport available for the NASA, so they're fully committed to the bit of just trying to pull people up here while the dragon is being taken. But this guy's going to hold their own, even in a 4v5 scenario, and the value that is being had by Zazal cannot be understated. Scar is killed yet again. Requiem is going to be doing a lot of damage, though. There's a chance that I'm a Cutie Pie and Voyboy can clean this up already. They have killed Meech in return. Fake God is dead from earlier on in this play as well, so they just have to back off. However, Young is going to grab at least Voyboy before this play is over. And like I said, this inhibitor is about to fall top. Delta Fox needs to do something. They go for the full commit onto the dragon, but now the question is, can they back safely? It looks like Disguise is going to let them, as the Nasus has gotten all the gold that they so please.
Yeah, Nasus not going to look to take the inhib. A little bit too early for that. Not really going to be able to capitalize it, but crucially for Delta Fox, they did get the 3rd Drake. Now, it is Chemtech Soul, bit of a mid soul. With their team, though, a lot of them can survive at low HP and, you know, just in general sustain. So it's actually not bad, especially like for Kassadin, like Wukong, a little bit of Vayne. No, not bad at all. But I will say, I wish it was a little bit more of an impactful soul. But a good fight angle. Disguise was a little bit split on that play. They were a little bit too far. Like, they came out of the blue side jungle through river on the top side and then through bot side river. So it ended up coming into Voyboy coming over the wall, Dyrus finding an angle, and then just Katarina Rel playing a little bit too cocky. So I like the look from there. Dyrus maybe a little bit caught out, just gonna be able to run away. Still has clone up, so more than fine.
You know, I think that we should bring back how slow Rel is when she's in Crashdown format. She looks so awkward waddling that fast. Young is also in a very awkward position, rooted up by Shifter's passive, and that pick actually means that Delta Fox could move on to the Baron Nashor. Fake God is here for the biggest ultimate of a lifetime, though, to combo with Meech. Let's see how many other members of Disguise comes up to this area. Corki package is making this a very, very dicey prospect, and honestly, I think now Delta Fox find themselves up the river without a paddle. Here's the ultimate in from Meech. It's going to be comboed with everything from Disguise, a double kill for Corki, and a full-on ace. Make it a triple. Delta Fox gamble it all, and it comes up in favor of Disguised.
I think no matter how close this game was looking, they can still do that and have that in their back pocket. You know, finding the Corki engage, timing it with the Rel going in first, being able to just woo-woo-woo-wah, you know, mollywop, everything, you know, package coming down onto the Rel, burning everyone, Katarina going in, finding multiple passive procs, and just being able to get a huge ult, Grievous Wounds on everybody, and then just fully cleaning up. Insanely well done from this guys.
And just kind of a questionable call by Delta Fox. I like the fact that, you know, they're going for the classic by-the-book plays, you know. Clearly their muscle memory has not atrophied in their old age, right? They're like, okay, we got to pick on the enemy jungler. There's no smite. We just go freaking take the Baron Nashor. But I don't think that they gauged just how far behind on gold they were. And Disguised just pummels them in the 4v5 because of the fact that Corki has that package. We got a triple Triforce game, by the way. I just want to note, absolutely no fear whatsoever from Young.
Yeah, I just want to note on screen, I mean, Cutie took the red buff, but Cyrus didn't even want the Sprite. He didn't even stay for it, so it definitely hasn't read the patch notes, doesn't realize that's a thing. But, regardless, now no Baron on the table, only Dragon to fight over in 2 minutes. Not gonna have package. Tomio might be caught out. Gonna get out. Gonna have to use Valkyrie. Yep, gonna have to use Valkyrie. Schefter finding a hook onto the Rel.
Big engage, that step charge used. I'm a Cutie Pie has enough damage to just burst the Rel in an instant. Young, though, finds the angle to just grab a huge ultimate down onto the Vayne. However, Fake God's been too far behind in this game to actually get the full burst damage necessary to kill this AD carry slash top slash marksman. And therefore, when the Katarina goes in, they are unable to get back out. Delta Fox still holding on by the tips of their fingers to this game.
Yep, Zeyzal finding a tier 2 turret though, so not all is lost. They still get some gold across the map. And again, no Baron to push with, so not a real threat going on. Zeyzal gonna get comboed, he's gonna get engaged on 3 members. He's not gonna have enough HP to
He's dead, yeah.
Though. Ooh, one more Q and Skarner's dead, but you know, he does damage as he's good, he's okay. And you know, that's, again, overall that's a good play. He gets tier 2. A little bit less worth that he dies, but in the end it's still okay. It's not bad. He's still scaling. Everyone is still scaling. We have to remember in this game. Now, Caston finally hit Royal level, you know, item level 10, and then has the Seraph, so he is in a good spot. Karthus does still have 2 items too, so he's no one to laugh at. There still is a lot of damage on this team. It's just going to come down to how they fight. If Disguise is able to find another Wamba like that in the Baron pit, then it's going to be hard to play. But if they're not able to, if they're picked off beforehand, then they're going to be Delta Fox is going to be looking good in the fight.
You know, if Soul does go over to Delta Fox, I think that there is a chance that they could take this game. The scaling, like I said before, is on their side. And this is a huge pick by Shifter. Great dredge line down onto Meech. You just can't escape in time. Scar gets it. And while we could be seeing a repeat of what happened around the Baron Nash or Delta Fox are going to do their due diligence by shoving out the mid wave, trying to get a sense of where the remaining members of Disguised are. And I'm a Cutie Pie is activating Ghost. They want to take this duel versus Tomio before anyone else gets here. Zeyzal, though, has the Wither available immediately. It's going to be cleansed away. Requiem is enough to actually kill Tomio on the back end of this one. There goes the Nessus as well. It's a disaster for Disguised, as now they are caught out in their own jungle. Skara and I'm a Cutie Pie are going to push back into the bot side river. Skarner is chased off, and everything is just going belly up for what would look like such a dominant team from game number 1. And now it's Young that decided to try to commit down onto Voyboy. They didn't expect Shifter to just dredge lane out of nowhere, though. And yeah, this is Fake God activating the ultimate, but we've already seen that Katarina is not doing enough damage against some of these tankier members. Voyboy's able to just void walk away. Meech is back up, but it's too late to stop the soul take.
Yeah, I think maybe just a little bit too much trolling in this game has resulted in Delta Fox being able to claim Soul, claim this Hemtech Soul, and just overall and being in an extremely good position in this game. That fight demonstrates exactly why, you know, if you give them too much kills, they're just going to scale and they're going to outscale you and they're going to outdamage you. So, well played from Delta Fox to be able to find these angles, to be able to stay alive in this game, and, you know, shame on Disguise for taking a little bit too many troll plays. Maybe trolling it takes a little bit too much. They're not out of it yet, but it's looking a little bit rough.
And you gotta ask how much of this is showsmanship, much more than Disguise you know, not thinking that these are bad plays. So that's something to keep an eye on. Right now, the game is tantalizingly close between the two teams. Delta Fox has Soul. They are still down a little bit on gold and kills, but the fact of the matter is, like I said before, they scale immaculately. Basically, every single person on the team has tons of utility at this point in the game. Dyrus on this Wukong, I think, is kind of an unsung hero, a disruptor, a back-end player in a lot of these fights to help follow up on Shifter and the like. And Disguise is just kind of struggling on all fronts. Obviously, Tomio is really starting to hurt. They're at 3 items with the RFC now completed, alongside a Hex Drinker as well, just to ensure that they aren't melted by Voyboy. But we've already kind of seen that in the comparative. I'm a Cutie Pie is doing damage, man.
I'm a Cutie Pie is doing damage. Just Nasus, who was a huge early mid-game threat after getting some leeway, you know, is now not doing as much. Now he's just getting one-shot by Vayne. So I guess that's how this matchup plays out. Vayne just eventually can just kill him. But this Skarner, I think maybe should have built a little bit tankier. I'm not sure about the Triforce, but he just needs to be able to get somebody, just hook somebody, impale somebody, and then just get the pick and have that start the fight. With the way Katarina's build is, she does a lot of damage to everyone at the beginning, but she doesn't actually have as much damage like falling off. Like she doesn't actually do a lot of damage to low health targets because of the Bork and the Divine Sunder. So we got to ask ourselves, how do we win? And I think it's just getting that pick or getting that wombo.
Yeah, but the problem is, because of how aggressively Disguise is playing, oftentimes the picks are going over to Delta Fox before they could even make a move on some of these objectives. Disguise is always down a player or something like that, and it was really kind of a heroic move by the remaining members of DSP that they were even able to stop that big Baron play. Now here's a massive engage, and this, in fact, could be the wombo. It's not a pick of one person, it's a pick of the whole damn team, Wolf. Here comes a Requiem on the back end, though. Voyboy staying alive. He's trying to chase down Zazel, but the Nasus cannot be answered. It's a triple kill for the Dog God as Tomio follows up, and now this could just be the end of the game with the wave.
I think it could be the end. Zazel needs to clear this. They need to clear this quick. They need to hit this turret. They have a wave top lane with an inhib. With inhib up, they have to take it, but they might just look for inhib, double inhib, and then I guess they're not looking for end. I don't think they have enough on the tank, which is a little bit unfortunate. I think it could have been an angle possibly, but at the end of the day, I think this is okay. They're going to stack the jungle, they're going to get all the camps and all the gold they can, and then probably just take an early reset for Dragon, or if not for Baron.
I think that is a new particle effect for the red buff. I don't think that's the one that is used on Ivern. I could be wrong. It's been a little bit since I played the guy, which is sad. I should probably play him some more. Did I tell you about my old Ivern strategies where I would start jungle item and go unsealed spellbook, and then you go smite teleport to start, and you just take the enemy camp, you go back to base, you sell your jungle item, and then you teleport to lane as a support player with the support item in the buff?
Sounds terrifying. I hope I don't see that in my solo game. But
it worked surprisingly well, man.
Maybe it works better now. Again, changed diver and looking good.
Yeah, I should try it.
But back onto topic in this game, they did take the Baron. This guy was able to take the Baron. So now they're going to have a lot of pushing power. Again, this Nasus is a threat again. They're sacking the jungle. They're just looking to push their lanes forward. And most likely they're going to have one top and then everyone else bot. They're going to keep this one mid-wave Baron for some time. And then just all transition bot lane. Elder's up in 1:35, so that's absolutely what they're playing for. It's not like they're actually going to go top. They're just going to push bot and get as much as they can before this dragon, as much setup position as they can.
It's so sad that it feels like after that last fight, the dam is kind of broken open for Delta Fox. They held on so well for so long, but the fact of the matter is Disguise does have a lot of tools in their arsenal, and they have two immensely fed side laners now that you have to deal with. And yeah, while it is the case that the rest of the team collectively doesn't scale quite as well as what Delta Fox is bringing to the table, now we're at a point where the gold lead might be just too much to bear. They're getting shoved in because of the inhibitors, and therefore it's going to be priority and control over this Elder Dragon that's spawning up to Disguise, as long as they don't sell it down river yet again. Zazel's kind of overcommitting bot right now. They're taking tower shots, but it looks like they're going to be able to zoom away from Voyboy, who just void walks back, knowing that they cannot prolong the...
Yeah, Zazel took a lot of, he was able to take out half of Voyboy's HP as Voyboy went in. You know, pretty good trade overall, I think. And they're gonna get bot tower, they're pushing top too. They're gonna look for both these inhibs at once. They're able to do a lot of damage at range with the RFC, taking down Scar with the ult, Shifter going in with the ult, trying to force something happen, but everyone's discombobulated, everyone's everywhere all at once. Young's gonna find Nautilus and take him down at the end. Voyboy not able to finish anybody off, and they're all still full HP. Zeyzal pushing the inhib, looking for the end. They're in the base. They're pushing the waves. They're trying to finish it off. Voyboy able to reset, get a little bit of mana and HP back. Ulti probably reset too, trying to clear the waves, and it looks like Disguise is going to back off.
We'll see if this is going to be the conclusion here, and now as Voyboy is going to commit for another play, but great ult by Dyrus is going to whittle down Fake God, and now, even with Young going low, I think that Disguise actually is able to rally right back. We'll have to see. Delta Fox holding on for the time being, but Zeyzal is just completely uncontrolled in this one. I'm a Cutie Pie, able to continue to make wraparounds happen and get to safety, and now actually the Vayne has found the footing to get the ace. Impressive showing, and this is in time for Delta Fox to rally for the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, Disguise a little bit too aggressive, I guess, in their approach. Able to be taken down by Vayne in the end. Vayne picking up, I think, a double or a triple, doing a lot of damage. Nasus not enough mana through his keys to be able to take anyone else down. And now it's just going to be a Delta Fox Elder. Corky does have package. He's going to look for Cutie Pie for sure. He has a lot of damage at range again, so he's going to look to keep poking. Good dodge by Tomio from the shifter hook. He doesn't know what the Elder's HP is.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for him to access this pit. Finally going to actually activate this ultimate. Gets over the wall to safety while simultaneously killing the Vayne, and will be able to hop back into the pit to try to contest for this Elder Dragon. However, the smite is going to land true. Dyrus gets that one, but Shifter is going to die in their defense. So this isn't the buff on as many people as we were expecting. Delta Fox live to fight another day, but perhaps the damage has already been done to the base to the extent to which Disguise could just walk this in after turtling for a little while to wait out this buff.
Yeah, I think they definitely need to wait out this buff. I think the core person that has it is Karthus, being able to apply that to the entire enemy team, even in, I'm not sure if in death or after death, but you know, it's gonna be it's crucial that he has the buff. He's gonna be able to do a lot of damage, a lot of AoE, a lot of dots. So that's very good. They might be able to end here. They might be able to force something. I think it's a little bit risky, but I think they can, with the mana advantage, they might be able to go for it. Shifter and Amikidi are both up in 6.
This is definitely a difficult situation to be in, though. Skara has Requiem available, and I want to see the collective pentakill off of the Elder Dragon execute. But regardless, Delta Fox are finally going to get their members back up, and now Disguise is a little bit too far forward. Young immediately knows that they have to suppress the Wukong, but the Cyclone's still going to come through eventually. However, Corky executes Tomio before going to do too much, although Fake God's in a lot of trouble, going to get executed off of this Requiem. It's a double kill, though, for the Corky, and Zeyzal, yet again, is able to move on to the Nexus turrets with basically no response back. However, there are only 2 Blue Squad members to hold on to try to push for the end here, and therefore Delta Fox, I think, are going to be able to rally. Disguise are kind of for funning by staying around inside of the base. Big knock up off the depth charge, but Shifter can't follow up as Tomio Valkyrie's away while that ultimate was being channeled. Therefore, Zeyzal is actually going to persist in this bot side play, looking to take down the last Nexus turret. However, Tomio is going to pay for this call with their life, as will the Nasus. Shut down over to Voyboy, and it's actually a double kill for this champion. And now this Kassadin is fully castle win, 13 kills, level 18 with teleport available. Disguise may have bit off a bit more than they could chew.
I think they were okay in the base, just like poking and pressuring with the waves, but as soon as Tomio was a little bit too far forward and gets caught up by Shifter, it's just over with the Kassadin still having the Elder Drake. Now that might turn into a a Delta Fox Baron. It doesn't look like they're going to go for it right away, but they're going to try and push out their waves first. They're going to try and stabilize a little bit in the base before they can really look for it. Baron is still not up for another 18 seconds, but collecting gold on the map. Sky's coming back onto the map, also just going to shout out their waves and then look to pressure this area around the river and the Baron. Overall, though, I think, you know, Delta Fox still holding on against all odds, I think is really good. I mean, they were in a better position earlier, but now the gold lead is pretty much dead even. A little bit 500 both ways, but that's just some leeway, and they are going to start up the Baron.
I mean, even gold is good for Delta Fox at this point in time. They have the soul available. This is good front line by Shifter as well to try to keep Young away from the pit, but the Starner is sped up, trying to make it in, but they are unable to land the smite, and now Delta Fox is getting a very advantageous fight against these 2 members of Disguised. Now with 3 dead, Corky just has to try to teleport for the desperation, and they're getting locked up, but not in time for him to start working away at this Nexus. Voyboy will get the shutdown before the wave fully crashes in, though. But no! It's the Winions! They killed the Nexus in time! Disguise! Take it 2-0!
That's absolutely crazy. That's an actual big dick TP. My God. He just TP'd right in their faces. Dyrus didn't have another ult to cancel it, just took some damage. Tomio just insane call for like whoever called for that. I don't know if it was, but insane game sense from that entire team being able to go for that.
I cannot believe that worked. I thought that they were going to be able to clear out the wave with the pan back of the camera and everything. I was fully sold that Delta Fox were going to live to fight another day. And not only that, take to the map with full advantage. But apparently from an ace disguise, they're able to make a miracle happen. They get the win there.
Looking back at that replay, Cassidy Q's a minion, which would have probably killed the Corki before an auto attack went off, but the wave was so big, it's hard to say what would have happened.
Oh my god.
But my god, what a close game. I thought that entire engage from Disguise was like into one by one, they all fell. I think that was just so troll, but they could have waited a little longer, stall the waves in the base, like pressuring and pelting the Nexus. But overall, game ends up in a win with a pretty hype backdoor, so I'll take it every day of the week.
Unbelievable victory from Disguised there. And I'll be 100% honest, Wolf, that is clearly not their best showing. That is barely a competent play at all. The fact of the matter is, Delta Fox took them to the very brink off of what I think was kind of a troll draft and some troll plays in mid-game. But still, credit is where credit's due. Under pressure, Disguise makes the right call. They full commit over to a teleport. And I think that honestly, given how late we were in this match, 35 minutes in, there was a chance, Wolf, that Delta Fox could have just run it down mid if they are able to protect their Nexus there from the Corki.
I think that definitely would have been a possibility. There was a lot of minions, so they wouldn't have had a wave. Maybe if somebody tanked it. I think it would have been a little bit hard to end, but I think it's crazy that game was only 35 minutes. That felt like so much longer with how much back and forth there was and how scaled everybody was. That felt like a 40, 45-minute game in days of old. But, 35-minute victory for Disguised. Any final takeaways?
I think that we're probably going to hang out on the stream for just a little bit, see if maybe they want to forfun a third game. I'd be down to cast that if you are Wolf. But in terms of takeaways from today as a whole, when Disguised is online and they actually are not trying to spell out toast with their bans, they clearly look nearly unstoppable versus these other very high-level players. Obviously, Delta Fox probably couldn't cut it in the current NACL, but the fact of the matter is, Disguised is looking like a top contender. I think that this is a great union of some of the very best players that made a name for themselves, not only in the last NACL split, but also prior to that. Zazel's been around forever. Also, apparently they can play top lane. Who knew?
Yeah. He was a coach for, I think, C9, maybe Challengers, I think at some point. So he's been bouncing around. Oh, maybe a coach for EG as well, but he bounced around a bit. So I would hope he has that kind of game knowledge, just playing some Nassus, but he did play it well. He did not die to the vein really at all. So again, I think let's looking at it, everyone was able to play their respective lanes that weren't their main roles, but they did good regardless. I'm really happy with, again, how that game kind of turned out. Again, all troll, but purely fun. And I think that's what's the most important here in a show.
Yeah, for sure. This last game, I'm not going to take as really any kind of indicator as to how Disguised are going to perform. But what I will say is that I'm very happy we got a match like that within the stream today. Because at the end of the day, Wolf, one of the biggest things about Disguised Toast entering into the league scene is the fact that for the first time in a very long while, it feels like League has some fresh blood coming in from the audience perspective, right? When I was looking in the chat prior to us going live, when I was looking at everybody rallying around Disguised Toast, I saw so many people saying, hey, I've never watched League, I've never played League, but man, I am hyped to see Disguised make a statement. And the fact of the matter is, with the dramatic game like that, I could see a few people wanting to download this game and take it to the Rift.
Yeah, I think so. I think that could be the case. On Disguised Toast's mainstream, 36,000 viewers, definitely not all League players. Has Captain Flowers, obviously one of the GOAT casters of the league, and Golden Glue, the coach of his team, in there. I think just all around, just having this new audience potentially. I'm not sure how many new people are watching, but assumingly new audience coming to League and coming to at least the esports side of it, I think is always really cool. And hopefully we'll see some of these amateur scenes flourish a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And, perhaps we're going to see some other content creator driven orgs take to the Rift. I would love to see Moist come in. I would love to see some of these other groups also try to invest in what I think is a very underserved part of the League community. NA has plenty of talent, and therefore I would be happy to see them continue to try to put some money into what is a relatively accessible means to actually, field a team in this game. It's pretty wild that we are getting something so crazy crazy happening in the midst of great upheaval, right? Obviously, the LCS still not going live, but luckily, we do in fact have Disguised playing in the NACL, which is launching next week. So that at the very least means that we're going to be seeing more people showcasing the teams that are bringing forth new NA talent. I believe that Disguised is first playing on the 10th, and it's going to be versus Team Liquid. So make sure to keep your eyes open to that one. I think we're going to throw it over to what Toast has to say really quick here on stream. And from there, we shall decide whether or not we push to go full live or anything like that. So let's go see what Toast has to say to close out our thoughts on this.
Like practice on stream yesterday, and people were tuning in. People are excited to see these guys stream. So I'm not sure if they'll ever return to League of Legends, but if they do, we should, show them all the love we can. And thank you all to the League of Legends community for showing myself such a warm welcome. It's been very cool. It's been very fun. You guys don't know this about me, but I played League of Legends since beta, actually. Because I have the Bowser Ramaskin, and I started watching streams because of like Dignitas and Scarra back in the day. My favorite League team was Monomaniac Ferris, that became Team Fear. That eventually rebranded to XDG and Vulcan. And I was a big Xmitty fanboy because he was at one point the best NA jungler. They got a huge lead against a Korean team at Worlds. They had like a 5k gold lead by the 20-minute mark. And then they proceeded to lose within the next 2 minutes. So yeah, I have been following League for a while now, and it's really fun to kind of get involved on a different level. I also applied for a job at League of Legends for a game design internship, and I passed the first 2 interviews. And on the third one, they asked me what my favorite champion was. I said LeBlanc, because I like one-shotting people with Deathfire Grasp and my full combo from the bush. And they asked, well, don't you feel like that kind of play pattern's a little toxic? And I said, no, I like doing it. And I didn't hear back after that. So I became a Hearthstone streamer. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. Our first game as Team DSG and League of Legends will happen June 10th, assuming the entire LCS isn't canceled by then. So if it's not, hope you guys can come check it out. June 10th. I believe we play at 3 p.m. Yeah, I hope you guys can check it out.
All right, and so I think that that's going to wrap us up for the day. Only got 2 games on the docket, but, it was a 2-0 victory for Disguise, so it makes a lot of sense. But, Wolf, it was great to be here, even if it was only for these 2 matches. It was a great time getting Delta Fox out of retirement, Not something I expected whatsoever, but shout outs to everybody that makes Tracking the Pros what it is today. I did not think that, in less than 24 hours from the announcement of the show match, that we were going to be able to, build the assets that we have here to be able to go live in this function, and beyond that, also get the technology to be able to access these streams from private lobbies. But all of that is thanks to the people helming this project. Joshua in particular was along with us for every step of the way. But Wolf, I think this is about time for us to depart. I believe that we're going to be returning to the regularly scheduled programming of Tracking the Pros in just a little bit. I might actually jump on to cast some games later, but for right now, I gotta go prep. I gotta go back and nap a little bit more. All the classic things that make me for better and for worse. But yeah, thank you once again, Wolf. I don't know if you have any socials that people could follow you on. Clearly, you do not seem to be on Twitter, which breaks my little heart. But alas, I'm sure that people would want to reach out to you because you do such a great job, hanging out, casting this stuff.
Yeah, I just scroll Twitter. Maybe I'll make a new Twitter account, for this league stuff. But otherwise, just Wolfgang on Discord. If you want to reach out to me, just hit up Joshua or anyone who's tracking the pros. You can find me. Usually by Wolfgang. But otherwise, yeah, it was a great cast. It was a pleasure watching these games. Absolutely a blast. And always a pleasure casting with you, Nyarko. Thanks, Joshua, for everything. And that's all I got to say.
All right. Well, have a good night, everybody. And I hope to see you guys around on more Tracking the Pros, because certainly it is the case that we got many more quality games ahead of us and plenty more to show of the League of Legends pro scene as a whole. So we'll see you guys later.
Peace.